Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, the YouTube channel, and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got your questions here from spring.me/Aaron Rift. A lot of questions related to the Chicago Raw as well as other topics. So let's get started here with Philly Fanatic 1. Hey Aaron, did you think the Chicago crowd hijacked Raw? I think they completely failed as WWE manipulated and controlled them throughout the whole show. The crowd did exactly what WWE wanted them to do, which was focus on all the matches. Your thoughts? Yeah, it wasn't exactly the hijack that the Chicago Raw crowd Twitter was hyping it up to be. I have to give WWE a lot of credit. They really laid out this show well. They knew people were going to be chanting for CM Punk throughout the night, so they got the CM Punk stuff out of the way. They did that angle where CM Punk's music hit and Paul Heyman came out. I was expecting something like that to happen because it would be a good opportunity for somebody to get the heel heat. And Paul Heyman was the perfect guy. Paul Heyman did a tremendous job with his promo. And WWE took the situation. They took a bad situation and they used it to their advantage. They used CM Punk as a way to build up The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar storyline. Hats off to WWE for that. And they had a really hot first hour. They gave the fans a lot of action. It was a very fast-paced first hour. And as it turns out, the fans ended up getting burned out. And by the second hour, they were too tired to even try to hijack the show. And they had several opportunities. They did chant "This is awful" for the Christian match. And of all matches, it wasn't even that bad of a match. But the fans decided to chant "This is awful" for Christian's match. Not Santino's match, not the Divas tag match, but Christian's match. Christian, the guy who the fans complained when he lost the world title to Randy Orton right away. These are the same fans that turned on him and hijacked his matches of all matches. So, I don't know. The Chicago crowd wasn't the best Chicago crowd by a long shot, and WWE got what they wanted. They got a sold-out crowd. They got a crowd that was hot for the key segments. Triple H and Stephanie got a lot of heel heat, but it was the good heel heat. They were booing Stephanie and Triple H. They were cheering Daniel Bryan. They were chanting "asshole" at Triple H, which was funny. WWE got what they wanted, and for the most part, WWE came out the victor in this battle between WWE, the company, and the fans that were upset and were going to disrupt the show. It was nothing like the Royal Rumble, and even nothing like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. But we'll see what happens when the Payback tickets go on sale. I'm assuming that it's going to be an instant sellout. So once again, WWE will come out on top, and they'll be making the money, and they'll have a hot crowd. All right, next question from Johnny Laura. Greetings from Ireland. Following the rumors of CM Punk's return on Raw and then a no-show, do you think that WWE leaked it out to cool the fans and make them think he was going to return during the show? I don't know if that's the case or not. Apparently, somebody in WWE told Dave Meltzer that CM Punk was definitely coming back. It was a sure thing, and as it turns out, no CM Punk. So, it could be that WWE purposely leaked that story out to calm down the fans that were angry. And certainly WWE took this hijacking threat very seriously with the way they laid out the show. And, they tried to counteract the chants. And as I mentioned at the beginning, it worked for the most part for WWE in their favor. And, maybe, we'll never know, but maybe it was WWE's way of trying to get the internet fans calmed down and not have them so worked up. And I think a lot of fans were still expecting CM Punk to come back throughout the show, so they still had the hope that he would make a surprise appearance. All right, this next one comes from Harley Woo Woo Woo. Hey Aaron, could you see CM Punk actually returning, or do you think WWE is happy to let his contract run out? Well, I don't think they're happy to let his contract run out. They would obviously want him back, but they're going to let it run out if he decides he's not coming back. They're not going to release him and allow him to go to TNA or go to Ring of Honor or go to Japan or whatever. So you know, they don't want him to be a fresh face wherever he ends up going if he ends up working for somebody else after his WWE run is over. And as I mentioned in previous videos, I think that if CM Punk is going to wrestle again, I think it's going to be in WWE. He's the kind of guy that wants to be the best in the world. I mean, that is how he really feels. He wants to go out there and be the #1 guy. And it's hard to be the #1 guy when you're a big fish in a small pond. And CM Punk has made a lot of money over the years, and he doesn't need to wrestle anymore if he doesn't want to do it. So I think if CM Punk does come back, it'll be with WWE, perhaps once he is mentally ready to come back. And, you know, right now, obviously, if he was going to come back, he would have been at this show in Chicago. The fact that he wasn't there, I mean, that really tells you that he is done, at least for the near future. All right, moving on here away from Chicago and CM Punk. This one comes from Trey Angel Los Ant. When was the last time the crowd chanted "This is awesome" before a match started like they did during the Shield and Wyatt family match at Elimination Chamber? Do you think Luke Harper and Seth Rollins will get pushes based off their performances? Please answer in video if possible. I don't recall a time where the fans chanted "This is awesome" before a match. There have been times when the crowd would erupt in a buzz before a bell actually rang. I remember the Goldberg Hulk Hogan match on Nitro, where the crowd was just red hot before the bell even rang, and there was all the anticipation and the buzz. So there have been matches like that, but I don't think that there was ever a "This is awesome" chant before the match actually got started. And as far as Luke Harper and Seth Rollins getting pushes, I mean, Seth Rollins is a guy I think that will, I've talked about this in previous videos, a guy who will do well in WWE despite not having the size and not being the best talker. He's a guy who's extremely talented in the ring, and I think that will help him at least have a mid to upper card level position in WWE for many years to come. And Luke Harper is definitely a guy who I think carries the Shield, or excuse me, carries the Wyatt family in the ring. Bray Wyatt is great with the promos and the character, but Luke Harper is the guy that really gets it done in the ring. So I think that he'll be around maybe a couple more years at least, depending on what happens after the Wyatt family breaks up and if they have something good for Luke Harper. I mean, that remains to be seen. I don't know what they'll do with his character once that group breaks up. But he certainly has a lot of talent, and I think that WWE will continue to push him for the foreseeable future. All right, this one comes from Donnie1393. Hey Aaron, great work. You're my go-to source for all wrestling news. So why hasn't the WWE introduced a new unified WWE World Heavyweight title belt? Is this because they plan on splitting the belts again? If so, when? Please answer in video. Thanks. Yeah, I don't think that they exactly know what direction they're going in with the titles at this point. I mean, obviously it's unified for the time being, but WWE could always decide to start up the brand extension again and split the belts. And you have to keep in mind, too, that when you have 2 championship belts, you have 2 belts that can sell as replicas instead of 1. So, you know, it could be a financial reason why they're not having 1 championship belt. And, you know, I also don't know what's going on with the logo. If the network logo is going to be the permanent logo, they might decide to come up with a new design with the WWE Network logo. That could be something that they're working on. I mean, there's several different factors and possible reasons why they haven't done it yet. But it is kind of silly, though, to have the 2 championship belts and only 1 champion. So hopefully sooner than later they will have some sort of resolution to this, either splitting the titles again or merging it and having 1 championship belt. All right, this one comes from Rusev Forever. Hey Aaron's, greetings from Bulgaria. Longtime viewer, first-time asker. What do you think of Alexander Rusev and his future? For a small country like mine, it's a huge honor to even have someone stepping into the ring for a company like WWE. As much as I'd like to say that he will get a big push and he'll have a bright future in WWE, Right now, I'm not completely sold on this gimmick. It seems to me like a very cliche foreigner gimmick and something similar to Kozlov. And, I could see this gimmick lasting maybe a year where he's getting a serious push as a heel, and then it fizzles out, and then he becomes Santino's sidekick, and then he gets released. Just as of this moment, I don't know how far it's going to go other than maybe a brief run where he's challenging one of the top baby faces like Daniel Bryan. But beyond that, I just don't know how far he'll go. All right, final question today from Paul Heyman Ty. Hey Aaron, with the network showing old pay-per-views with Chris Benoit, do you think that he will be featured in other content like WWE Countdown and so forth? No. Chris Benoit will be in the pay-per-views, in the archives, but WWE beyond that is not going to do anything to showcase Chris Benoit or glorify him or mention him any more than they absolutely have to. And, proof in the pudding is the Shawn Michaels Mr. WrestleMania DVD. They left out the WrestleMania 20 match, the triple threat. That wasn't on there. So, they said every single pay-per-view, and they try to keep it as unedited as possible. And Chris Benoit was in a lot of those pay-per-views. So, it would be very noticeable if they left him out of all those matches, and fans would perhaps demand a refund or whatever. So, WWE's just going to leave those pay-per-views intact as they were, but that's it. That's the only time you're going to see Chris Benoit is in those archived pay-per-views on the WWE Network. That's it. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Thank you guys for checking out the video today. Please share it on Facebook or Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. And I will see you guys next time for another edition of No DQ&A video.